Thank you very much, IMHO, for this opportunity to share some of the impressions of my recent visit to Sri Lanka, more specifically to Jaffna. And first of all, before I go on, I really have to tell you that the previous two presentations were very inspiring. And truly, Mr. Nadaraja's presentation points to a major problem and really a scar on the conscience of all the people from the island. And I'm so happy that he made a presentation of such a powerful impact. And also to Mr. Penny, whose generosity is really very impressive. I went back to Jaffna and I spent 2 months, February and March in Jaffna, and I lived in Chundukuli, and Chundukuli is where I grew up. So it was a visit for me for sentimental reasons. We were planning to spend 6 months there, but we had to get out because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So my time in Jaffna was very, very pleasant. I enjoyed bicycling around and going around the town in a bicycle. I watched cricket games and I really marveled at the spectacular sunset at Panay, which I did not have time to appreciate when I was growing up in the 40s and 50s. Further, thanks to a very robust and up-to-date Wi-Fi system in Jaffna, I was able to keep in touch with California and the US and see all the crazy things that are happening here. And during the time I was there, I was met very many interesting people from all different walks of life. I met auto drivers and talked to them, shopkeepers, development workers, business people, doctors, nurses, teachers, some of my old friends, and some who have come back to Jaffna to live there after their careers in the overseas. I worked also in the endocrine and diabetic clinic. You know, I'm an endocrinologist and I practice that field. It was a pleasure to be there. So I met some patients, was able to talk to them. And I also made trips to places I had not visited growing up there, such as Mannar, Talamannar, and Delft. So the impressions I'm going to share with you are from these experiences. Jaffna, if I am to put it in a nutshell, is a community that is recovering from a long and destructive war. There are scars of the war visible, bombed out buildings, destroyed and unattended buildings, along with signs of recovery. New buildings, a few high-rises, many new wedding halls, motorcycles and scooters crowding the streets. There's also a new generation growing up without the lived experience of war. And while there are older people who have experienced war and are moving on, they're moving on psychologically and in every way, but cautious and grateful. People are very hardworking. Many of them are doing two jobs. Making ends meet is a struggle there for middle class people, like teachers even. And for young people, the opportunities are limited. So many of them do consider the option of going out and studying overseas or doing work overseas. But I really saw no instance, and I was looking out among my contacts, of what I've heard often stated by people who go there for a short time and come. And that is the Jaffna people are spoilt by overseas remittances. And it has created a culture of dependency. And that it has killed the ethos of hard work that was so prevalent when we were growing up. And contrary to some other information I've heard, I experienced Jaffna was not full of drugs. It was very safe. I felt very safe, and there were not gangs. On the other hand, it is tightly policed. I was stopped at least 3 times going in my auto to check for the auto driver, of course. And there are a number of checkpoints traveling whenever you travel. And the army is very visible, and people know that there's an army around. So that's the overall situation there. But in that context, I was very encouraged to see very many talented, capable, and committed people, you know, who are taking a lot of initiative, variety of initiatives to improve the life of the community. And I only know Jaffna and Northern Province because that's the only place I was there for the 2 months. One of those initiatives is the cooperative movement, which was a source of wealth production and retention and stability in the community when I was growing up. There is a new cooperative bank and there are people who are working to resuscitate it. And the concept is a very attractive concept for a place like Jaffna. the wealth stays in the community. Another is the Chelvanayagam Foundation, which is focusing on education. Offer with which I had worked in the refugee camps in India is in Jaffna and in the northern eastern provinces, and they are trying to resettle and rehabilitate returned refugees. It was one of my great source of joy that I met 4 or 5 of them whom I had trained as health workers in India, working there in the health field and helping on. And another initiative of a different nature, which is enriching lives of children in the Chavacheri area, is by a physician from Chicago. He and his wife have built a beautiful art center, and they are providing art classes at no cost or free of charge to children in that area, and it's very popular, and also encouraging local artists. And I went for one of their art exhibitions, and it was very impressive to be in that exhibition and see that in Chavacheri. That's another type of initiative that's enriching the lives of the people. I also saw 2 of IMHO's many initiatives. IMHO has had many initiatives. I saw 2 of them. One is, I want to also mention that IMHO has 2 very capable people working for them in Jaffna, both named Krishna Kumars for whatever reason. And one of the Krishna Kumars took me to see the Center for Autistic Children named Madhavam in Jaffna. Madhavam is currently, it focuses on treating children with autism. It is currently a collaborative program with the regional health office and an NGO, which some of you may know, Manidan AM. It is located in a neat home in a relatively quiet lane off a busy, I think, KKS road. And the psychiatrist, Dr. Sivayoham, is in overall charge. And the physician works part-time to do examination and assessment. And that physician has been trained by IMHO in the US. IMHO also has helped to train the behavior therapists to work in the clinic. And the clinic also has a manager. The center also has speech therapy, which is given to the children. After intake and assessment by the physician, the children are provided 3 months of intensive one-on-one behavior and speech therapy for 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, they are discharged and a new batch of children are taken in. And the families who are discharged can continue to be part of a group behavior therapy in the same building. The program is open-ended and they can continue in it for as long as they want. To find out how effective it was, I decided I'll meet and talk to one of the mothers. So I took her to a side and sat down and talked to her. They had been in the program for about 2.5 months. And the mother was very grateful for the program, and she reported tremendous improvement in the child's behavior, language, relationship to others, and in all aspects of function of the child, indicating that the program had worked very well for her. But however, through most of the time that I talked to her, she expressed fear and concern that the program was ending for her child. At the end of 3 months, that program would end for her. And she was fearful that the child would regress back to where the child was. She did know about the group therapy program, but she didn't express that that was going to be adequate for her. I suggested that she starts a group of supportive people in a community, and she said that would not be possible. So I talked to the manager and the therapist about what they can do. I was, of course, talking about the child, but then they told me their problem. Their problem is they got long lines, a lot of people waiting to come in. So they have to make difficult choices. They have to make a choice that it is not optimum for an individual child maybe to stop the therapy at 3 months. But then if they were going to be fair and get others also have benefit of that, they would have to go on, they have to stop for 3 months and get more children in for the program. So the issue boils down to inadequate resources. It's not optimum treatment. They are doing something very valuable, but resources are inadequate. And the only answer to that is more funding. Another program that was initiated by IMHO is the Diabetic Clinic, Diabetic Center in the Jaffna Hospital. I attended the clinic and worked alongside the physicians there, the doctors there. The clinic is run by a very well-trained, competent, and caring endocrinologist, Dr. Aravindan, for those who know him. And also he's supported by a group of house physicians, and I believe IMHO pays for or supports the salary of those physicians in the center. The center has good educational material for the patients, and they have the convenience such as drawing blood and testing for the eye retinopathy at the clinic. I believe the care in the clinic is as good as you can get in the country, but they are also stifled by the resource constraints of the government system and the country itself. It was a very forward-thinking initiative taken by the IMHO many, many years ago. It is producing results, but the only comment I can make is the need of diabetes and managing the complications is massive in our community. It is massive in all the South Asian communities. Those of you know the issue. And I wish there were more resources. I wish there were more resources in parts of this country. In the clinic I worked in the last years, but it's a major problem. But IMHO has made a dent, just taken a first step, and I do hope that we would be able to progress on that front. There's one small improvement that, I mean, small thing that might help immediately. There's a new technology by which blood tests for the glycohemoglobin can be done on the spot at the time of the visit. It's a finger stick test, and if it is done, it'll save the patients coming back again to the clinic, and it'll also decrease the crowd that is in the clinic because it'll help the second round of visit, and also it'll help the doctor to prescribe more appropriately at the time of the visit. So that's something that I've initiated discussions with Dr. Satyamurthy and Dr. Vaidehi, who is the biochemist, and I hope we can help in that, and I would like to be part of that. I also finally joined a trip to the preschool. You'll see a video of that's in the program with the IMHO team, and visited 4 preschools in Mannar. You will see more of that information, but I just want to make one comment that struck me. I was very humbled and impressed by the teachers who are teaching there. All the teachers I met were people who had been displaced, who had been dispossessed, and had been destroyed, and all their wealth destroyed, all their things destroyed in the war that in 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And yet they had recovered. They were all very dignified, pleasant, and committed to helping these children. And the children, what struck me is they are no different to children anywhere else. They are no different to the children that I have seen in California. And so it's very impressive, and they are all worthy of help. And as I was told by the 2 previous presenters, a little help will produce lots and lots of more greater results. And finally, on a note, because it's a medical thing, I just want to tell you I was very pleased and encouraged by the changes in the Jaffna Hospital. Satyamurthy is the leader, and many of us know him, and he's doing a wonderful, committed job. And more important, not more importantly, but equally importantly, he's managed to attract a very young set of committed, young specialists, well-trained people. There are 2 neurologists, neurosurgeons, GI surgeon, gastroenterologist, and all kinds of very well-qualified people who will serve the population. They say it's about 1 million, I think, much better. There's new construction going on. So these are very encouraging signs in the midst of many more challenges. We left Jaffna just after the coronavirus patients the first coronavirus patient was diagnosed, and just before the flights out of Sri Lanka was shut down. We left at the beginning of the pandemic, and the pandemic, as has been mentioned before, has caused enormous disruption in their life. But I feel confident that the community will survive the crisis, and any assistance we can give them at this time will bear a lot of fruits, and they can use assistance from us in any form, expertise. They're going to need IT and computers in a big way, which will also make them connected to us so that we can intervene in a more effective ways. They'll need expertise, they'll need resources, they'll need knowledge, and that we may be able to do it better with the IT connectivity that will have to come. And so I urge you all to consider, I'm talking of Jaffna, but I'm sure it's true of the other parts of Sri Lanka and the hill country, and particularly north and east. a little help will go a long way, and it's worth helping. And that's my impression. And thank you very much. Yeah.